Good afternoon, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Wanted to talk to you today about rejection letters. We all hate rejection, and we know they do too. So let's talk about it. I've got a bunch of pictures that I posted in another post titled Rejection Letters, but it wouldn't let me post to the video, so I will add that tag when I get done with the video so that you can see those pictures with this video, but they are in another post just prior to this. So first we'll start out. We've got a letter here, and these are all for a friend that I helped with back in Waterloo, Iowa. And we've got one from a law group here called Mandarich Law Group, and it's got the address and stuff up in the top right corner. It's got a P.O. box in Illinois, a couple numbers, a phone number, fax number. It's got a www.mandarichlaw.com. You can also info@mandarich.law or mandarichlaw.com. Then on the right side it says, this law firm employs one or more attorneys, admitted practice in the following states, and it's got Iowa in there. And it says, of counsel, Thomas M. McGreal, California, Hawaii, Crystal Flynn, Utah. So those are the two main attorneys in the case. And then of course it's got it addressed to her at her local address. It's dated April 7th of this year, 2019, and it says, our records indicate that you are in default on the following described credit transaction due to failure to pay. Okay. The problem here though is that we have a lawyer that is trying to do a collection, and therefore they are acting as a collection agency. And then of course it says current creditor, JH Portfolio Debt Equities LLC. And then it's got an address, and then it says our file number 259659, and then it says original creditor. Original creditor. U.S. Bank National Association, and it says original creditor account number, and it's got a bunch of X's, and then it ends in 0180. And it says total balance due $5,617.42. Okay? Then it says you are in default of this account for failure to make payments when due. You have a right to correct this default as set forth below. If you do so, you may continue making payments until the current balance is paid in full, as though you did not default. In order to correct this default, you must make the following current payment by the due date described below. And it says total current payment $674.09. First, I want people to comprehend that the current payment is in accordance with the current creditor. They are wanting you to make a payment, and they say you may continue making payments. If you do so, if you do so, you may continue making payments. So if you don't, then you won't. Pure and simple. It's that easy. Understand or comprehend the words that they're using. It says you must make your payment in full, payable, or you must make your payment payable to JH Portfolio Debt Equities. And that means they're no longer taking payment at U.S. Bank National Associations, because they done already sold the debt. It's already been wiped clean in accordance with the U.S. Bank National Association. They have cleared it by selling it and claiming it as a loss on their taxes. Therefore, they have had just compensation according to the commercial laws. So, it says, if you do not correct your default by the date stated above, we may exercise our rights against you under the law. If you default again in the next year, we may exercise our rights without sending you another notice like this one. If you have questions, please write or telephone Mandarin's Law Group. And then, of course, it gives you the information, da-da-da-da. This communication is from a debt collector. So it's not from the original creditor. It is from a collector, a debt collector. They are saying they are collecting a debt, and there is no debt. They bought the debt, and now they're trying to convince you that you owe them, claiming it's a debt. That's fraud. Pure and simple. So, what we do is we write them a little letter clarifying that. And so we date it at the top corner. We put from Joyce Ann Schmidt, and of course we do that in correct grammar. And it says to Mandarin's Law Group, LLP, and it should have been LLC, I believe. No, it says LLP. And that, of course, is in all caps, just like they had it in all caps on the letter that we received. And it says, attorneys at law. It even says that on here, attorneys at law. It means law is here, and they're outside of law, and they can't go in law. So they're at the edge of law. They are at law. It says, to whom it concerns. This is our letter that we wrote in response. To whom it concerns, I have received from your office a sheet of information which shows on the face of the record that the original debt has been sold without my knowledge or acceptance. As authorized representative of a Joyce A. Schmidt, all capital letters, I am going to recommend that you get your facts corrected. According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 609, subsection A, subsection 1, subsection A, you are required by federal law to validate. And then I put the Title 15 of the United States Code in there referencing that, but I put the wrong subsection. No problem. You can correct that. And you'll see that in the photos when I get them attached. And it says, to assure maximum accuracy. And again, I quoted Title 15 of the United States Code. And it's supposed to be Section 1692, but I put 1681 by error. And to perform accuracy and fairness of credit reporting through the physical validation of the original signed consumer contract, and I use hyphen, with is what the hyphen stands for, any and all accounts. And you'll notice the grammar that I use with the hyphens and stuff. You'll also see I use ... That's an explicit reservation of rights, saying that I may add something later. It is not a sentence. It is not a full stop saying stop. I've included everything. It's a ... saying I reserve right to include something later in case I've made an error. And then parenthesis, note, full stop, that says original consumer contract, of which neither yourself nor the current creditor are privy to. Parenthesis, I will require an IRS audit for possible taxation of incomes not being reported if you continue your fraudulent attempts to collect monies not due. If you insist on further acting upon your own error, then I will insist on a meeting of the minds. They're offering you a contract. You have a right to refuse it. This is a refusal letter for dishonor. We're stating that in very certain terms, using certain words that clarify that. Okay? So, if they try to force the contract, we will insist on a meeting of the minds. The meeting of the minds is face to face. And we will clarify on and for the record. Right here, it's not on a record yet. They're able to just wipe it clean and say, okay, we take a loss. So that's where we're at. And this letter was received April 7th is when it was sent out. We received it approximately April 10th or 11th. We turned around and sent our response on April 16th. So within a week, we responded to their offer, period. And have not heard back. One down. I've got a couple more here. Oh, and remember, that was for a total amount of $5,617.42, and they wanted you to accept their offer to make one payment of $674.09, and then you may continue making payments. If you default on this, then they're reserving their rights. And understand, people, they don't have rights. They have privileges at law. They cannot operate in law, which is rights. They only have privileges. Okay. Next one. This one here is from Admin Recovery LLC. Remember, the other one was LLP. This one's LLC. And it gives the address. It's addressed to the same woman. March 29th. So this is actually one of the previous ones we got from a different creditor for a different account. And it says, creditor, TD Bank N.A., doing business as TD Retail Card Services. Credit account number 600, and then it's got the number. It says, store, Simpson Furniture Company. So now we have two different people claiming to be creditors. Admin Recovery Reference Number. And it's got a reference number. Then it says account balance. Account balance of $1,729.74. Then it goes on to say, dear so-and-so, Admin Recovery, LLC. There's a comma in there. Admin Recovery, comma, LLC, telling you there's two things there, is offering you the opportunity to pay 50% of the account balance to close this account. This 50% payment shall be in the total amount of $864.87 to close creditor account number, and then it gives the creditor account number. What's that telling us, people? Well, let's read that again. It says Admin Recovery, comma, LLC is offering you the opportunity to pay 50% of the account balance, not your account balance, the account balance, to close this account. Comprehend the English language they're using. This 50% payment shall be in the total amount of $864.87 to close creditor account number and then the account number. Now understand, or comprehend, people, that creditor account number has already been closed because these people bought it. They bought the debt. That account has been closed. They have claimed a loss. They sold it for pennies on the dollar to these guys to see if they could collect, and then they claimed it as a loss on their taxes. It's closed. To accept this offer and close, now get this, your account. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Didn't you just say the account? and this account? And now all of a sudden it's my account? I don't think so. To accept this offer and close your account, please remit payment to our office in the amount of $864.87 upon receipt of this letter. It's a letter. That's all it is. It's not a claim. It's a letter. You may contact our office toll-free, da-da-da-da-da, and then got a bunch of information down there. And it's even got a coupon attached to the bottom. I'm going to show you the backside and show you the difference. See this one? What's this? That's legal size paper. They want you to accept their offer and return part of that legal document. Uh-oh. Don't do it, folks. So, we wrote them a really nice short letter this time. So we've got the date at the top, 5/10/2019. This one here was dated March 21st. So we kind of went out of the range a little bit there, but fuck them, they're committing fraud, so fuck it. So, we wrote them a nice little letter on 5/10/2019, referencing Joyce Ann Schmidt, all rights and responsibilities adhered to whom it concerns. I recently received a letter with several private entity names on it, with various numbers, addresses, and such, that is quite literally hard to even comprehend. And when you see the picture of this, after I post a link, you'll see the picture of this. You'll see down at the bottom where I got done reading, there's a bunch more information. There's various different creditors listed there, various different addresses and stuff. And so it says, I recently received a letter with several private entities named, or entity names on it with various numbers, addresses, and such, that is quite literally hard to even comprehend. This letter was received directly from Admin Recovery LLC. And it's got and then we put the address and everything. It says, however, I did notice it distinctly mentions several times this is merely an offer. Please accept my apologies, as I cannot accept your offer. Have a great day. Respectfully, Joyce. Haven't heard back from them either. Imagine that. So think about this stuff, people. Okay, we're not done yet. Now we've got one. This one was interesting. This is funny. Okay, this woman went out and bought a car. And she found out she couldn't afford it later on. So she had to voluntarily relinquish it. Okay? She voluntarily relinquished the automobile. They didn't have to come back to her and repossess it because she quit paying or anything. She voluntarily relinquished it. Okay? And this is part of the fraud. People understand or comprehend that when they get these automobiles back and they've got large amounts left on them, they know that they can sell them really cheap to their friends and buddies. So that's what they do. They sell them really cheap to their friends and buddies. They don't auction them off. They sell them really cheap. These newer cars, they sell them really cheap to their friends and buddies. And then they turn around and claim a loss. And of course, that claim of loss is a tax write-off. And then they turn around and sell the rest of the debt that's owed to somebody else, and then try to come back to you for the total amount of the debt. Fraud. So anyway, we've got CU Recovery. CU Recovery. Huh. It's got the address and everything. It says, Dear Joyce, your account has been referred to my desk for review. Where'd the account originate from? Not from her desk. And her desk isn't even located at the dealership. It says CU Recovery. So our collection representatives have attempted to help you to resolve this situation. Not your situation, this situation. Please pay the entire balance of your account within 5 days of receipt of this letter to avoid further collection activity. And we'll talk about that full amount of the entire balance, the cost of the automobile when we first tried to purchase it and found out we couldn't afford it. We'll discuss that in the next letter that we got from them. And it says, make your cashier's check or money order payable to the creditor listed above. The creditor listed above. Use this opportunity to avoid further collection activity. If you should have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Fuck you, I ain't going to contact you. You sitting here lying to me. I'm going to talk to somebody who knows something about it. Then it says, cordially, Jim Polina gives his 800 number. CU Recovery, Wyoming, Minnesota. We didn't buy this thing in Wyoming, Minnesota. And this automobile dealership doesn't have a dealership in Wyoming, Minnesota. So you can't possibly be the original creditor. Then it says, important notice. This is an attempt to collect a debt by a debt collector. Whoa! You're not the dealership. You admitted it. Dumbasses. And any information obtained will be used for that purpose. So don't give them any information. The collection agency is licensed by the Division of Banking in Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions. Are they licensed in Iowa? Think about this stuff, people. NC Department of Insurance permit number, and this gives a permit number, and this collection agency is licensed by the Collection Service Board of the Department of Commerce and Insurance. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. So, we wrote back. 4/16/2019. Joyce Ann Schmidt. Correct grammar spelling. Says, I received from your office a sheet of information from CU Recovery to Joyce Schmidt, all caps. There seem to be several errors on the face of this sheet. Let's start with the original creditor is University of Iowa Community Credit Union. CU Recovery is a separate private entity and not privy to the original contract. I admit this was a secured debt. However, the collateral was already returned, and that alone cures the debt. Please be aware, according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 609A, 1A, you are required to validate, or required by federal law to validate, and again, in this letter I made an error and stated 15 U.S.C. 1681E when it should be 15 U.S.C. 1692E. False or misrepresentation and false statements. And again, like I said, it's an error. You can correct your errors. They're not correcting errors because they're not making errors. They're committing fraud. Okay? To assure maximum accuracy. And then again, my error of 15 U.S.C. 1681. And to perform accuracy and fairness of credit reporting, hyphen, with, through the physical validation of the original signed consumer contract, hyphen, with any and all accounts, ... That's a reservation of rights that we can include something later on. Please beware, I am the Joyce, comma, the authorized representative of Joyce Schmidt, all caps, and yourself is not the original creditor. If you insist on further acting upon your own error, then I will insist on a meeting of the minds. Respectfully and sincerely, author Joyce. So that's a lot just like our last letter. Real simple. Real easy. Okay. Now, these yahoos thought they would be kind enough to send us some information to help correct the records, thinking that we were going to be fooled again, or fooled at all. So they sent us a nice little cover letter with information about the original loan. About the original loan. Not the original loan, but information about it. Okay? So they sent us 6 sheets along with a summary of some kind of accounting that they want us to believe belongs to us and is jointer with them. They bought the debt. So what they did was they bought the paperwork. So they have the paperwork that they can present to try to fool you. Comprehend this. Okay, so their cover letter says, "Dear Joyce, as you requested." No, we didn't request this. We requested that you correct your errors. And since you can't, you shouldn't have sent us anything. Naughty, naughty. As you requested, a lie, a misrepresentation. As you clearly heard in our letter, we did not request this. Enclosed are copies of the documentation and/or an accounting breakdown for the above referenced account. Now, the above referenced account, and it says documentation, copies of the documentation and/or an accounting breakdown for, not of. See, they bought the debt from somebody else. So they no longer have an accounting of the debt. They have an accounting for the debt that used to exist. Comprehend the English language. As you requested, enclosed are copies of the documentation and/or an accounting breakdown for the above referenced account. Principal amount due as of 4/24/19. Again, a lie. There is no longer a principal amount due. We gave the collateral back. Debt is cured. Interest due at 3.24% as of 4/24/19. And it's got this amount, $11,734.42 for the principal amount due, and interest due at 3.24% at $1,080.27 for a total amount due $12,814.69. After you have had an opportunity to review this information, please call this office so that we might resolve this matter. Sincerely, Margot Sullivan, and she gave us a number wanting us to call. No thanks. We're going to have it recorded, if anything. We don't want to speak to you. We want to rebut your literal words. You know, the lies that you put on paper. Period. So it says important notice. Uh-oh, here goes that important notice again. This is an attempt to collect the debt. Any information obtained will be used for that purpose. We haven't given them any information yet, have we? This collection agency, again, you're not the original creditor then, huh? Is licensed by the Division of Banking in the Wisconsin Department of Financial Institutions. But this is Iowa. Are you licensed in Iowa? I don't care. Because even if you are, you're committing fraud. NC Department of Insurance permit number The collection agency is licensed by the Collection Service Board of the Department of Commerce and Insurance. Okay, so let's get to this document, the one they sent us for the accounting for. Total sale price, $41,580.84. Now, this lady was paying quite hefty sum She had a finance charge of $4,469.52, and that left a amount financed balance of $37,111.32. Unpaid balance of cash price. Can't read it. When you see this document here, see all that gray? It kind of blurs the writing and you can't read it. And I'm not going to post pictures of this. I'm not going to post pictures of this. It's private information, so this is not, but believe me, just know you can't read these numbers here. So then we got another page, and all it is just the banking laws and stuff. And then here, it's got 5/26/16. Your Hyundai Tucson was voluntarily relinquished to the University of Iowa Community Credit Union. Huh? I don't think so. Should have been relinquished back to the dealership. But then again, I don't know much about banking. The car went to the dealership. It didn't go to the bank. The bank has the paper. Again, comprehend this stuff. They lied to you. They lied right there. On 5/25/16, your Hyundai Tucson was voluntarily relinquished to the University of Iowa Community Credit Union for the purpose of converting the vehicle into monies to be applied to the loan. Huh. Either way it goes, we cleared the debt by returning the collateral. Okay. So our response to this particular second response, 5/10/2019, Joyce Ann Schmidt, to whom it concerns. I received from your office a sheet of information from CU Recovery to Joyce Schmidt, all caps. And remember, this is coming from Joyce Ann Schmidt, grammatically correct. Upon review of said information, I responded with a note that there are several errors on the face of said papers. These errors include, but are not limited to, original creditor/debtors involved. You have now, once again, seemingly asserted you have any business in these matters. Please be advised. I like using that one. We will be requiring a full forensic IRS audit for clarification of all parties privy to any and all incomes associated from said original contract. We have advised in the initial response to be aware of the fact that you are required by federal law to validate the debt under 15 U.S.C. 1681E was in error, hyphen, it's located at 15 U.S.C. 1692G, and was referring to a maximum accuracy in records, or in accuracy in regards to 15 U.S.C. 1692A definitions and not 15 U.S.C. 1681. Also, be now advised that the parties must be identifiable and identified, and must be done so correctly and truthfully. So please be aware of any misrepresentations clarified under 15 U.S.C. 1692E. False misrepresentation of facts. Again, my apologies for my errors. Please correct your own. You now have notice and knowledge, and have accepted and admitted that notice, because we gave them one notice and then they sent us a notice in regards to our response saying we requested information. A blatant lie. It was clarified in the prior notice that myself, Joyce, is merely the authorized representative. I'll clarify further. I am the authorized representative of the person known as the debtor. I am not the debtor. See UCC 3-402B subpart 1. The one making the unambiguous, or the one giving an unambiguous authorized signature on the instrument as the authorized representative is not liable for the person named in the instrument. They're trying to claim that you have liability when it's clear that you do not. And why do you not have liability? Because we have no way to pay a debt with the debt. If you take minus $10 and pay with the Federal Reserve note, that is a debt. Say you owe $10 and you give them $10 Federal Reserve note, you've now taken that $10 negative and added another negative $10 to it, and you now have negative $20. Does that make sense? You have no standing against myself. The matters were settled when you purchased the debt, as detailed in the copies of documentation and or an accounting breakdown that you sent, stating that I requested such information. It is clear a quasi-contract scheme is being applied in these matters that have not been equitable in any fashion. Be aware, I am now requiring a true bill from your specific private entity, entitling yourself to enforce collection upon a secured debt that is no longer in effect and thus cannot possibly be delinquent. These are very important words. Again, I urge you, comprehend the English language. As noted, the collateral was sold, and yourself claiming to be due monies as a separate private entity proves the debt has been sold, and thus the original party privy to the contract is compensated and claimed the loss of what was not compensated, as well as sold the debt. Unless you can prove a nexus as joinder to my person, might I suggest you mind your own business. This time, I'm requiring a complete record. Respectfully and sincerely, author Joyce. And again, that was 5/10 of 2019. No response. Chicken shit, motherfuckers. Okay, this last one, I'm not going to show. This is another one. I'm not going to show you a copy of it because it's got personal information on it in regards to a Sprint bill. If you look back in my post back in January, February, March or April, I believe we posted something in regards to a Sprint situation, and that's what this is about. Anyway, they sent us a bill after we had already made phone contact and made arrangements via that phone contact to correct the bill. And the statements made in that phone contact stated that the bill was supposed to be a certain amount. And here we have a total amount of $865.94. Because instead of wanting to correct the bill, as we stated on the phone, which they agreed to, including their fraud department, we spent hours on the phone with these people trying to correct this and got all the way up to the fraud department. We are going to contact the president of the company who lives in Japan. He's a Japanese guy. He owns Sprint over in Japan. And we're going to contact him if we have any further issues. But anyway, we did an accepted for value on this. And then along with the accepted for value, we sent a notice. Joyce Ann Schmidt, native born. Joyce Ann Schmidt, see exempt from levy info on money order. And the native born is done in the grammatically correct, and Joyce Ann Schmidt for the see exempt from levy is all caps. And we sent it to the Department of Treasury, IRS, Internal Revenue Service, to whom it concerns. I have recently come to find out that there is some confusion as to who I am in fact. I am hoping that you will correct any and all of your records to reflect that I am not a United States citizen, a state citizen, a public employee, a public official, a taxpayer, a withholding agent, or anything but a Iowan born at whatever. And actually, she's a South Dakotan born at wherever she was born. As such, I expect the exemption I am allowed by operation of law will be taken care of expeditiously. I do not fit within any definitions, terms, or conditions used in any statute, code, regulation, or otherwise, whether it be international, federal, state, county, or municipality for any trade or business, lease, contracts, acquisitions, traffic, transportation, commerce, or otherwise. I no longer use a monetary system for my prosperity, as I am now disabled and dependent upon the consideration I paid in already. I exist privately. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. But be aware, I will only accept mail addressed appropriately to myself as seen here. And then, of course, we put the correct address. Sincerely and respectfully, author Joyce. So as you can see, people, and like I said, we've had no response to any of these except for that CU Recovery who thought they were going to try to fool us. And so we sent them a second notice and haven't heard back. Now I'm going to do another video later on, today or tomorrow, about some traffic citations I had in the previous years. I've still got a hold of a couple of them. I can't post any pictures on them because you really can't see them. They're on that funny paper that has a sheen to it and the ink wipes off. So I'm going to read what I can on it to discuss some of that, as well as I've got a except for value thing that I did on the accounting of the fines and stuff for all the charges that they claim that I owe. But I've already called the Treasury Offset Program, and it's been clarified there is no debts being reported. Yet these people want to publicly put it on the public record that I owe a debt. So we're going to work on that. I'm still working on bringing forth information to correct all that stuff. But again, like I said, I'm going to do another video later today or tomorrow on those things. In the meantime, I really hope you people start comprehending the English language. This is how powerful it is. That's $674 with one notice. One notice is all it took. $847 or 60 some dollars. $12,814, $859. Oh, and that Sprint one, that $859 one, they sent us a big old box afterwards. A big old box. They wanted their equipment back. Fuck you. Ain't your equipment. We threw it away. Ain't no such thing in existence anymore. Sorry. My apologies if we're in error. You breached your contract. So we'll call that equal detriment. How's that sound? So anyway, remember, people, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. God bless and have a great, blessed day. Bye-bye.